Hi, welcome to Art445a. We are going to be talking about the portfolio. By now, you should all have posted your current portfolio in your journal. And the reason for this now is so that we have a benchmark of where you are at the beginning of the class. By the end of the class, you should have a more refined portfolio, ideally as a website, or it could be a PDF that you can email. If you haven't done so already, you should schedule a time to meet with me in person, either in my office hours or via Zoom during those same times, or if those don't work, we can set up some other time. And I want to go over individually with your resume and your portfolio. So by the end of the semester, you should have a portfolio as a website, and I encourage you to look at our Blackboard course, and I'll share the screen. So if we go to our course and you go to resources, there's a list of portfolio hosting sites there, and so they're all free, so take advantage of that resource. So there's a section on portfolio tips, and this will give you a guide on, how to put your portfolio together. And there's another section here called Guides to Photographing Your Artwork. I'm going to give you some tips on your portfolio and some tips on photographing your art. Okay, so like I said, by the end of the class, you're going to have a portfolio that's on a website. Refer to the resources for those links for portfolio hosting sites, portfolio tips, and for how to photograph your artwork. In addition to your online portfolio, what I want you all to do is have a printed portfolio. You do not need to print your whole portfolio. It could be just a simple brochure, a tear sheet, a little like a flyer. Some students have done a postcard or series of postcards. It should be something as collateral that you can mail or just give to somebody as a memory or reference to your work. Some students have, especially those in graphic design that are taking the portfolio class, have done whole books. So regarding your portfolio, there's a saying that your portfolio is judged by it's like a chain, it's judged by its weakest link or weakest piece. So you need to be critical about the work that you're putting in your portfolio. You don't want any weak work. So any work that's weak that's kind of the level that you're judged at. So we want to be critical on this, and this is where I can help you. So if we review your your portfolio and your work, I can give you specific feedback on how to edit your work. By the way, your portfolio should be assembled and geared towards your goals. It's okay to have multiple portfolios. Say maybe you into fine art painting, but you also do graphic design. Maybe you want to have two portfolios, one for your fine art, another one for your design work, and that's fine. And so each portfolio is geared towards the goals of that work. You want to think about the portfolio, the work in your portfolio relating to your career goals. So regarding the photos, you want your photographs to be clear, clean, and sharp, neutral tones. You don't want color casts on them, and you want to have captions on them. So the captions should say something about the work, maybe the process, the technique, the assignment. They should have a title. You can have in the caption, you can have a brief description of what the project was about. You don't want to just have a bunch of pictures with no explanation. So think about how you can clarify what people are looking at with the photos. You want them to be sized correctly. Sometimes people put their images in at too high of a resolution, and then they take a long time to load, or they're too big on the screen. So check out the size and make sure the pixel dimensions match somewhat the screen size so that they show up good. You also don't want them to be too low of resolution, because then they're going to look blurry or fuzzy. One of the most important things about photographing your artwork is the lighting. You want white light. And if you photograph, say, in tungsten light, or the pictures are going to come out like too orange. And if you photograph under fluorescent light, they're going to come out on the blue-green side. So the most neutral light is overcast day. Like if it's cloudy or overcast, that's nice, neutral, clean white light. If it's sunny out, you can be in the lee of a building, on the shady side of a building, or under an overhang. That's good white light. You can be in some of our classrooms have big windows that are facing north. So if you put your work up on a wall next to a window that's facing north, that's nice light also. Be careful of the shadows, though, of the window frames, the strips between the windows. Another good way to photograph your work is to use the studio lighting. And there you want to have at least 2 lights at 45 degrees from your artwork so that you get a nice even cross lighting. We have a studio that you're all welcome to use that's got a nice setup for photographing your artwork. And that's the silk screening room, and that's Art South 481. And it's got some regular open hours, and they have a lot of times. I will post in Blackboard I'll find out the open lab hours and post it. But they have a light kit in there with a seamless background that you can put your artwork on. It won't take large artwork, but you can put your artwork there and photograph it there. So be sure, pay attention to the background. What's nice about the studio, it's got a white seamless background. So you want the background behind your artwork to be white or a neutral gray. Sometimes people have used black also, but you want it nice and even. You don't want a bunch of cruddy stuff around the back of the picture. If you do happen to photograph your work against a background that's busy, later just crop it down really tight in Photoshop. Just get rid of that background. When you're photographing your art, make sure you use a tripod. It's really hard to be steady and accurate by hand holding your camera. When you position the camera, you want it to be exactly in the center of your artwork so that it's not crooked. And that's hard to do by hand. So be sure you use a tripod and set things up so you're accurate and consistent from one piece to the next. So after you photograph your artwork, you can go into Photoshop and crop your picture and adjust the tones and colors. So the next step is each of you need to meet with me individually, and I will give you a personal critique of your portfolio and resume. So please set that up, okay? That's the end of my brief meeting with you today.